Hello, everybody. Welcome to another TLD cast with the training, learning, and development community. Thanks for tuning in. Good afternoon to all of you guys that are experiencing afternoon times now. Usually we're in the morning, but this is a nice sort of change of pace. We've actually been doing some afternoon episodes lately, so it's been really, really fun. And this is another member showcase. And I'm so excited to have as our guest today, Rachel Weiss, who has actually been in a playlist previously in our competency modeling playlist that was hosted by Toddy Norum, and Aaron Melvin was a part of that one. I actually linked it to the top of chat if you guys are interested in checking that out. There are a couple episodes in there that were really, really good. That was a fun conversation. I remember that last year. So Rachel, welcome.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
I've got 14 questions to you, two more than
okay.
what I've been doing lately. And we've got 30 minutes to get through these. And remember, this is primarily, we just want to get people to know Rachel Weiss. And as a supporter of TLDC, we appreciate that so much. We're so glad that you're here. Let's just start out. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am in Scottsdale, Arizona. I have been in the learning and development space for about 22, 23 years now. I started my career in public education. I taught middle school, high school, and college for about 16 years, and then decided that I probably had some skills that could be moved over possibly into the corporate world, made that jump, and I spent 5 years at GoDaddy in different roles there. And in the last about year and a half, I have been with Oscar Health. I am leading the L&D team there, and it's been a really wild ride so far.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So how long have you been an educator?
An educator about 23 years.
Wow. Okay, good. Because I actually put that in the promo on social media that you were a plus 20-year educator.
Yeah. All right. Well, then
I got that right. And then, and you say you're customer obsessed. I think I saw that somewhere in your LinkedIn profile or something.
Yes.
Explain that a little bit. What do you mean by customer obsessed?
Well, when you do, we're creating content for typically for internal candidates or internal employees within the business. But really the goal is always for them to be the best representatives and serve our customers or our members as best as they can. So if everything that I do does not come back to that end person who's going to be on the receiving end of this assistance, whether at GoDaddy it was a customer or at Oscar Health it's a member for health insurance, then what am I doing, right? So it's really important, and I remind my team always of who we're working for and why we're here, and it's really to make those end experiences as best as we can.
Fantastic. So you're service oriented.
For sure.
Love it. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into this.
Okay.
We've got these questions. So right now, what kind of projects are you working on?
So what I'm working on now is actually looking at how to shift my department a little bit. It's been an evolution. When I first got to Oscar, there was a really great team of 5 people on a training team that were serving one small function of the business. And since I've been there, we were able to grow to serve the entire ops organization, and now as learning and development, the entire company. And so what I'm doing is really looking at how we're changing the way that we partner with our business stakeholders, working hard to get my team to really become like true learning consultants, so that people in the business know they can come to us if they're having a problem, whether it's with learning or not, but anything development wise, anything. I want us to be the problem solvers. I want us to be the ones, people go to say like, I have a problem in the business. I'm going to start with L&D. Wow. So that's what I'm working on, is really just building our brand within the company, and helping the team learn how to be business consultants.
That is really, really interesting. So for one, that's a huge shift, right? Yes. From going from serving just one department, and then all of a sudden you've got the entire organization that you're trying to serve. And then also just that statement, building your brand within the company. That we could probably just do a whole other episode talking about that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So, I mean, can you just give us a real quick, maybe rundown of things that you're doing to build a brand? Like, is there anything in particular you can mention?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because we had a roadmap for what this was going to look like, and coronavirus completely blew that up. Like, it's pretty much blown up everything in the world. So, the some of this marketing, so to speak, is going to have to wait a little farther down the road. But one of the things that we're doing now is we've got a really great program with EDE, so employee to employee learning, so that people recognize that we're all learners, we're all teachers of our crafts, but that we're partnering with our employees and giving them that platform. And so I think that's helping people recognize, okay, like if I have something to say, L&D can help me say it. And then additionally, working on some, I guess, like workshops or webinars that I can be doing across the company right now to hit some of the needs that we are seeing crop up that weren't necessarily anticipated because we didn't anticipate having an entirely remote workforce.
Yeah.
And so we've done a few managing remotely, like thrown out some e-learnings really quickly for the company, but I'm also looking at some webinars that I can host in the near future for our leaders, just around leading remotely and different challenges that come with that.
Wow. So do you feel like you're having to make much of a culture shift at all in the org?
Definitely. We are making a culture shift. And I think that it's, kind of what I was saying before, that every time I've grown the department a little bit, we've shifted a little. And each time we become a little more strategic and consultative and less on that, reactive order taker. And so we're making really good strides. And I think that the work that we're doing now wouldn't be possible if the team weren't where it is and ready to do that. And so I think from a culture shift perspective, it really is how we serve the business.
Wow. You're probably learning some incredibly valuable lessons right now.
For sure.
So next question, what's the favorite part of your job?
So I think the favorite part of my job is, and this tends to be like a common thing that you hear from teachers often. This is just a little skewed because the job is different, but it really is those aha moments. I had a really great moment in a call last week with one of my stakeholders I was building content for, and she said, "Where have you been all my life?" I was like, "I'm right here and I'm ready to help." It was just, that's my favorite part, is people realizing, wow, there's an entire, there's adult learning theory. There are reasons why we design things the way we design, and having that mentality and being able to do the work in that way will give you better results. It will give you better outcomes. When people recognize that and realize, okay, so I was just throwing a slide deck up there and calling that training. No, let me help you. Let me consult with you so that you understand and we can make it, something that's way more effective. Those aha fun moments are the best for me. Yeah,
it is consistently, like in the last, the few member showcases we've done, it seems like that's a common theme, is just that, seeing you help other people kind of reach their potential or have those aha moments. That seems to be what everybody loves about what they do.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish you had known when you started getting into L&D?
Yeah. I was thinking about that, and I think one of the things I wish I had known or realized, there's a huge list, but at the top of the list would be the idea that, if you build up your skill set, if you build your competencies, if you are able to do good work, your surroundings don't matter. I think that for a lot of people, the idea of making the jump from a high school classroom to working with, employees and leadership training and those kinds of things would be really a big leap, but it wasn't. It was I had to shift my frame of mind a little bit. But the same skills that I was using in the college classroom are the things that I'm using in a training classroom at Oscar Health or at GoDaddy, that recognizing that like you're not learning these skills for this one thing, that everything you do and everything you gain, it goes with you and it's transferable to other things. So I think a lot of times people feel like, oh, well, I just know this, you know, and I can't make it into this other sector. You can. You need someone who believes in you and can recognize that you can do that. But those skills are those skills.
That's great. That's good to know. I'm gonna have to post that somewhere because that's something I think a lot of people really want to hear. That's fantastic. So right now in what you're doing, if you could have a tool or service that you don't currently have, is there, what is it? What would that be? Anything?
Yes. So, one of the things I've done with the team is really build up like our technological capabilities. So we do have an LMS now. We've got, e-learning content that we build. What I'm missing, and I think is not in the stars for me in the next year or so, is the LRS, that record system. Because what it does, is in an e-learning, it will tell me, I'm all about data. I need to know, and I need to be able to show others that what the work we're doing is valuable to the business. That's why we're here. And so those record systems will tell me everything people are doing within the e-learning. Normally, like say you take a quiz or an assignment, I'm just going to get that end result number. But the record, that LRS will say like, oh, first they clicked here, then they clicked here. Like it really gives you that picture of what's actually happening. I think that's pretty advanced. I would love to be able to do that. I don't have that right now. So, we do our own little workarounds and whatnot, but that's another one of our big goals for this year is really being able to share metrics that matter to our stakeholders in a meaningful way.
Right. Oh, nice. So are you currently like sort of shopping around for an LRS, or have you already decided sort of what you guys want?
Right now, it's my dream. It's not happening this year.
So it's still in the dream stages. I love it though. That's great to hear. I'm sure there are a lot of other community members that are in the same boat. Okay. So looking back at what you've done so far in your career, is there a particular project that you want to mention that you're especially proud of?
I think one of the things I'm most proud of is the work that not just I, but the entire team did at Oscar Health when I first got there. So the team, like I said, they were a really hardworking, dedicated, wonderful team who did not have a leader who knew L&D, and they didn't have a lot of L&D background. I think we see that a lot in corporate training worlds where someone's really good at their job. And so we say, oh, we're going to make you a trainer so you can train others how to be good. But there are like a million other skill sets, competencies, all of these things that come along with facilitation and instructional design. So when I got here, the team was really just kind of doing their best, with what they knew. And so in a short amount of time, I was able to really help them to shift gears. So we have an onboarding program for our concierge care guides, which are the, essentially like customer service representatives. And we have, 20 people starting every other week sometimes. And the class goes for 4 weeks. It's 2 weeks classroom and 2 weeks what we call lab, which is, like an on-the-job training. And so what we were able to do was basically knocked down the entire program and we rebuilt it in like all around learning objectives and all around how does this affect the member? Let's get right, as we talked about before with customer obsessed, like as we are learning how to do this job, we need to be thinking about what is the end result? What does this mean for the people who will be on the other end of the line? And so I think that, the program that we built, it took months. And the team stretched itself in ways they were very uncomfortable with, but they did it and they had my full support. And really, we ended up putting together a program that I am so proud of. I've had multiple people tell me who've come through it that it's the best corporate training program they've ever been in. Especially people who come from other healthcare settings who have said that has made me really just so proud of the work that we all did. I was able to kind of set that structure for them and really point their eyes in the right direction. And then they were able to build it from there.
Wow. Congratulations. So how many people are on your team?
Right now we are a team of 17.
17. Okay. How many people worked on this project?
This was those original 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so how long exactly do you think it took for you guys to do this one?
So we started the work in January and we piloted it with our first class in May.
Wow.
It was nuts.
That's
We've just been on a path of continual improvement from there. You know, we always have an ongoing list of all the ways we want to make it better. And instead of, going through like a V1, V2, V3, we just kind of said, here's our program and we're just going to continue to iterate. And so that's what we've been doing.
Wow. So your team is 17. What kind of roles do they comprise?
So we have learning specialists who are the ones who do essentially all of our facilitation and a lot of our instructional design work. And then we have program managers, and they make up they're a large group of this, of our organization. They're the ones who are doing this build work. They will work with a stakeholder to determine like, okay, what kind of a program do we need? Right from the beginning, that needs analysis. They own it all the way through the evaluation at the end. So end-to-end programmatic ownership has been a big thing for our team this year. I geared everybody up for it and they've really been killing it. I've been so proud of them. And I'm actually just starting to, I just presented to my team today in a team meeting right before this, that I'm opening up a new role for us called a learning partner. And this is really going to be kind of in between, where the program managers, they do strategy work, but it's in a smaller scope. They're working, helping them for just this one project or program. And our learning partners will have an ops one, a corporate, and a tech. They'll work with those entire organizations to make sure that their learning programs are, end to end for the whole org are working. They'll also be consultants when it comes to development opportunities, surfacing themes across the board for us as L&D to be aware of. So trying to kind of create some groups within, some leveling within the team that everyone can see, like there's growth, there's people management growth, there's strategy places you can go. So really just trying to, and yes, actually, Kristen, exactly like that, a learning product owner for the team.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then of course our people managers, I've got a learning operations lead who works for all of those, works with the learning specialists. And then I've got people over the larger programmatic stuff.
Wow. Oh man.
And performance management, that falls under us as well.
That's amazing. Yeah. All right, let me move on to the next question.
Okay.
Who or what keeps you inspired?
So I think that, again, I hate having the cheesy teacher answers, but this is really where it lands. I think two things. Number one, that end result again, like Oscar has really high, customer service scores in the industry, knowing that a lot of that I know comes from the people who we onboard and the people who we continually train. And so I feel really proud and inspired by the good work that the company does as a whole. And then my team, like I said, they lean into everything I push them toward. If you could see the difference between a year and a half ago to today, it's a completely different org. And they, every time I push them to do something more, they do it. Like they really inspire me so much, and they make me want to be the best leader I can be because I just want them to keep growing.
Wow, that sounds like a great culture.
I love my team. You know that.
So how about this one? Best compliment you've ever received?
Honestly, let's see. I think the best compliment I've ever received. Okay, this is kind of a funny one, and maybe it's not the best, but it's what popped in my mind. When I was with GoDaddy, I was building content. My role for a large part of my time there was for our global centers. And so I was building onboarding programs for teams in Europe, teams in Asia, teams in South America. And so when I was building the one for Asia, we were at the time serving multiple different markets. So, Japan, China, all of these. And I'm coming up with all of these scenarios because it's really important to have scenario-based learning. You want them to be practicing the job they'll do. But I don't know that much about Asian culture. So I spent a lot of time online looking at common cities, common jobs, common names, put all of these scenarios together. And when I got there and we ran through them, my very first question was, did those make sense? Did they seem realistic? Like, was that real to you? And they said, oh, absolutely. That totally seemed like something that could really happen. And I thought, all right, good. I made it. Like that was a huge compliment to me, because I was so unsure about what I was doing.
Your research paid off.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Wow. Is there anybody? Actually, I was just thinking about the last question. For some reason, is there anybody like in your life that keeps you inspired? Are there other trainers or anybody that's like influenced you?
It's a great question. I think that a lot of people do have like that one North Star person that they look to. I don't have that as much. I kind of take little bits and pieces from everybody. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, when I think about being inspired, like I said, the team definitely keeps me inspired to keep doing good work. The company and the members, for me to know that what I'm doing is worthwhile. One of the things that's always been important to me is knowing that the role that I'm in does something to improve the world in some way, in some small corner. Yeah. But then, there are other people I work with, from a business perspective, who inspire me just because they are teaching me new things all the time. Like I said, I did come from the world of public education. And so while I know L&D really well, the business world was newer to me. And so I've been learning. I've had a couple of people I've worked with who've really taught me so much just about the business environment and about making a positive difference. I can't think of one specific person. I just kind of grab from everybody.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's great to hear that you're learning from folks like that. I suspect that's probably one of the reasons why you're as successful as you are, is that you're taking this stuff in too, So how would your best friend describe what you do for a living?
Training. That's all they know. Just helping people do their job, training, getting in front of people, making stuff. Yeah. Not a real understanding of like the incredibly complex back end work that goes to an L&D department for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a trainer. And so it doesn't matter whether or not like, if you're a fitness trainer or, an animal trainer. It's just
I think they know that I'm I work in the corporate training setting. Mm-hmm. But even now I have people I worked with forever will say like, oh, and here's Rachel, our trainer. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I do that too. So I think the understanding is very basic, but it's
They have no idea that you went from 5 employees to 17 employees, going from one department to serving an entire organization.
Yes, that strategy piece, all of that back end work, like no clue.
So is there something that you wish you were really good at that you're not good at now?
Ooh, good question. I mean, yes, definitely. I think that one of the things, I have too many, like all these answers are in my head, they're warring. I'm trying to pick one here. I think that some of it would be so a lot of my work, like I said, involves strategy, and I'm looking at how L&D can support the business, how we can help the business grow, how we can help people, departments, all of these different pieces. But there is this like additional layer above around how L&D fits within the business and just how the business is moving forward. And that's something that I'm still learning about, when I'm trying to make decisions about promotions, when I'm trying to make decisions about org structure, there are business aspects to that like I need help with, that I wish I were stronger in. I know the right people to go to. So I use my partners very well in that, so that I get the information that I need. But it would be so great, I think, for me to have a better understanding of that myself. And so it's one of the things that I've been focusing on as a learning opportunity for me in 2020.
If there is anybody specific that that can speak on that you would, I would be happy to invite them on for a broadcast to kind of share.
Absolutely.
About that, because I think that would be a really, really great sort of conversation to have and to share with the community. So,
well, hey, maybe in 6 months I'll be able to do that for you.
There you go. We can do a whole series with you
once I've learned it myself.
So we know that that you used to be was it a public school teacher?
Yes.
Wow. And aren't you glad you're not one right now?
I mean, truthfully, yes. I do miss it every day. It was some of the most fun I've had in my entire life and some of the most rewarding work I've ever done. But for my own personal and professional growth, this was the right direction for me.
Wow. I don't think I've heard that from any other sort of corporate trainers, instructional designers that, I don't think I've heard them say that they missed moving on from being a teacher. So that's unique. And I think that says a lot about you. That's really cool. But what other jobs have you worked?
So honestly, I was one of those really precocious brats, I guess. By the time I was in the 9th grade, I was sitting in my English class. I remember we were doing Romeo and Juliet, and I remembered thinking like, God, I could be doing a better job. Like, he is not getting this class involved. They do not understand how cool this is. Like, I got myself worked up. And so that was always my goal. I went to, I got a bachelor's and a master's in English, and then got my secondary certification certificate. Like, it's always been my goal to teach. And so that, I've had like other odd jobs here and there, but truly in my professional career, it has all been around education.
Wow, that's great. Our last guest, Megan Torrance, she was the same way. She's has been doing the same thing for probably 30 plus years.
Yeah.
But, like Toddy, who is in the audience, she's done a whole range of different jobs, and the same thing with Kim. That's great.
Yeah, I think that's common in L&D, that people fall into it, not necessarily anticipating that earlier on in their careers. But for me, it's always been the endpoint.
Okay, and it looks like Kristen posted a little link there.
Ooh, good. I'll check that out.
Inside Business Concepts for Designers. Okay, so maybe that's something we can look into. So as a trainer, is there any content that you yourself, or maybe I guess your team has created, that you actually go, that wasn't originally for you, but you actually go back to for reference?
That's a good question. I would say that, so again, one of the things that when I was at GoDaddy, as I was mentioning, I was building this onboarding, and I really built it from scratch. And so while the content that we've built, that my team, I helped my team build now, is miles better and way more sophisticated, some of those same general concepts apply. That was one of the first times that I was really coming at it at a build project, thinking like, how do I make sure in this environment that we can evaluate that people actually can do the job? I think that we often, if you think about levels of evaluation, it's we always have our smile sheets. I want to know that people liked it. That's great. The knowledge gets a little harder, but it's that behavior that's so important. And I wanted to be able to build stuff where we could say, yes, I don't just know that you know the content, but I know that you know what to do with it. And so I think that's just a mentality that I've come back to all the time, and I really pushed on my team.
That's interesting, because I think you guys went over that a little bit in the, I'm going to repaste that, the links to the playlist you did with Toddy on the competency model.
Yeah.
But for anybody in the audience right now, just go there and you could watch both of the videos from the playlist. It was a great series of conversations. So if you weren't an L&D professional now, what do you think you'd be?
So if we were going back in time and I were rewriting history, I would love to be a travel photographer.
Yeah.
I tell everyone I'm a gypsy. I mean, obviously in this current state, I'm feeling a little hampered.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been all over the world. I want to go all over the world more. I love being immersed in other cultures, meeting other people, and just seeing the beautiful visual representations, sometimes not beautiful, that you can find that really just, I think travel photography allows others to see a world that they can't access themselves. A lot of people don't have the ability to travel, don't have an ability to get other places, or even know how they would do that or why. And I think that that idea of being able to bring the world to you is so cool. I love the visual aspect of it. I'm not a great photographer, but I think if that had been my career goal, I would have been better.
Yeah.
And I would love a job where travel was just a part of it.
Yeah. And you know what? That's one of my favorite questions, because I love hearing what other people's what their second choice would have been.
Yeah.
It can tell you a lot about somebody. I
yeah.
love it.
Oh, good.
So if there is one thing that people should know about you, what is it?
So I was thinking a lot about that. And I think that I guess my my easy answer is that I am approachable and I want to help everyone. And if you are one of my people, I am on your side. I advocate like crazy for my team. It's really important to me. And you often have like a vision of yourself and don't necessarily recognize that others see you differently. And so I had a few instances earlier on with my team where it came out that like people were nervous to ask me something, or they were afraid to bring something to me. And, it's like, it's me, it's just me. I'm so approachable, but
Yeah.
when it comes to roles in the department and those types of things, like people can get uncomfortable. And that none of that matters to me. Like, I just want to work with people. I want to help people. I am approachable. I will help you anytime you need it. Just ask.
Mm-hmm. I love it. That is great. That's good to know. I'm going to have to clip this one and like post it.
She said it.
Yeah, she said she's approachable. So here's one of my newer questions, and
Okay.
you're going to be the first one for this one.
I'm ready.
If you could choose someone to play you in a movie, who would it be?
So I was thinking about this one too. I was going through those questions. I would say Reese Witherspoon. She's got like the sassiness and the I think that would be a good pick. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm sort of distracted because I just heard a Reese Witherspoon joke, and I'm trying to remember. Have you heard the one? How did you hear that? Wait. Oh, you know what? I can't tell it because I'm gonna totally destroy it. So I'll have to post it in chat later on. Really good Reese Witherspoon joke.
Okay.
That's great. I love how sassy she is. Okay.
Yeah. I would like to emulate that. Like she comes across very competent, very intelligent, but still that sassy, I'm doing
yeah. No, I think that's that's one of my favorite questions too, because I think that one says a lot about a person.
Right. Or at least how we want to see ourselves.
That's true. That's true. Rachel, thanks so much for taking the time out and doing this. You really enjoyed the conversation.
Right.
I'm going to be posting it online for other people to hear. And we were talking in the green room earlier about, I was suggesting that if you want to pass this on and interview someone on one of these showcases, I'll let you make a decision, and I totally would be happy to set that up.
Great. I would love to.
Same sort of format, 30 minutes, 10 plus questions if you'd like. And it would just be about introducing other people to this community. So keep that in mind. It'll be, I think it'd be a lot of fun. And anyone else, I know Toddy, we've already done one with you. Yep. Kristen, I'm going to throw that out there. I think that's a new thing that I'm going to implement, is just to let other people, sort of introduce, the community to one another. So keep that in mind, and I'll bug you later on.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everybody. And we'll see you next time. Tomorrow we actually start finally the accessibility playlist. We had to change up the original date of the session, but it's starting tomorrow, I think at 2 p.m. Storyline and accessibility. I saw the outline for it already. It looks like it's going to be great. So make sure you guys log in if you can for that one. And other than that, we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.